Hi, my name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm a Cavoodle puppy coach and breeder for Noodle Way and River City puppies. As a coach, my philosophy is simple. A Cavoodle should always complement your lifestyle, not complicate it. And this is the foundation to everything I teach. For almost the past decade, I have been working in the breeding, training, grooming, and veterinary sectors of the small animal industry. I've also been raising Cavoodles for the past 16 years, so I have definitely learned a thing or two about the breed along the way. Now this podcast is all about Cavoodles. Raising Cavoodles, training Cavoodles, grooming Cavoodles, breeding Cavoodles, and how to shape the behavior of a Cavoodle puppy. So if you're a Cavoodle parent or you are looking at adding a Cavoodle to your family soon, then this podcast is for you. New episodes will be released each Tuesday morning, and you can follow me across all social media under the name @OodleWay for more tips and advice on Cavoodles. Thanks for tuning in. Hello and welcome back to the Cavoodle Coach Podcast. My name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm your host and your Cavoodle puppy coach. And we are doing another episode of the Cavoodle Basics mini-series today. And we are answering the question, are Cavoodles clingy? Wow, this is a loaded topic because it is one of those traits that people tend to think goes hand in hand with a Cavoodle puppy. And I would say most of the time the answer is yes, you are correct. Cavoodles are a clingy dog. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually one of the things that a lot of families love about their Cavoodle because Cavoodles are They are bred to be companion dogs and they just love being with their family. And if you're getting a puppy and you envision having them as a family member, part of your lifestyle, doing everything with them, this is a personality trait that is really going to benefit this and really suit you. And so Cavoodles being clingy isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there is a difference between just a clingy Cavoodle, one that really just wants to do everything with you, versus maybe a Velcro dog who gets so stressed and anxious when they're not with you. And that's the difference. And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode now. So first, I want to tell you what is typical of a Cavoodle. No matter what Cavoodle you have or no matter what training you do with your Cavoodle, it is going to be very natural and very normal for a Cavoodle to follow you from room to room in their house. That's very normal for them. It's part of their very affectionate personality and they just love to be in your presence. So when you go from the kitchen to the living room, to the dining room, to a bedroom, to the bathroom, your little Cavoodle will follow behind you. And that's okay. That's completely fine. It's not fine if your Cavoodle freaks out when you leave the room, but it's okay if they just simply enjoy being in your presence and just want to be there for the companionship. The difference between a normal attachment from our Cavoodle and then some separation related behaviors, this is the really important thing that we have to talk about. And I want to talk about some of the normal things from a Cavoodle, some of the concerning things about a Cavoodle, and I want to talk about how we can help avoid our Cavoodle from having separation anxiety, which is different to them just being clingy, because clingy just means they like being with you, and that is what they are bred to do. A Cavoodle is bred to be a companion breed of dog. So normal behaviors from a Cavoodle, so I've just said, is following you around from room to room. Another normal behavior is for your Cavoodle to, when you leave the house, to just sleep and the whole time that you're gone and just wait for you to come back. We can try and encourage them to play and do their own thing and have fun when we're not there. But usually, most of the time, by the time they're an adult dog, when you're not there, they will just sleep and relax until you get home because their life revolves around you and this is what they look forward to doing. It's also very normal for your Cavoodle to quite regularly want some physical affection from you. So they'll come over to you and they'll want you to touch them, to pat them, to cuddle them. This is also very normal. And again, one of the benefits of this breed, if that's what you're looking for out of a dog, if you want a dog who's going to cuddle you on the couch, sit on your lap and do those sort of things, Cavoodles are going to be amazing for that. However, this can go too far. If our Cavoodle is very clingy and they become Velcroed to us to the point where they freak out when we're not there and they have no idea how to remain relaxed and calm on their own, that's when this whole clinginess becomes separation anxiety, and it becomes a real behavior issue, and it's something we really have to either prevent in the first place or really help our cavoodle get through, because for them to be under that level of stress, it's not healthy for them, and it's not going to help your relationship with them. So if you have a cavoodle puppy and when you leave them alone, even if you're still in the house and you just go to the next room, if they start crying or barking, pacing, chewing things, destroying things, weeing and pooing all over the ground when you're not there, that is concerning, because that is not the normal behavior of a dog when they are left alone. If your cavoodle chews on a toy, chews on a long-lasting treat, or just sleeps when you're gone, completely fine. They don't have to have the best time in the world when you're not there. It's not what's, it's not something that comes naturally to the breed, but we don't want to see any of those concerning behaviors where they are simply not coping. If your puppy is doing a lot of crying, barking, pacing, destructive behavior, toileting accidents everywhere, not being able to calm down when you're not in the same room as them, that is an indication of separation anxiety. And if we don't work on that, your cavoodle's anxiety can get worse and worse and worse as they continue to get older, to the point where they become so unsure of themselves and they have such little confidence in themselves that when they are even with you, they can still do these behaviors because they are feeling so on edge in the world rather than feeling comfortable and confident. And so the separation anxiety is something we want to prevent in our cavoodle, and it's something that we want to help them overcome if they are experiencing it. So now let's have a little chat about why cavoodles struggle with separation a lot of the time. They are a breed that is more prone to separation anxiety. The reason being, like I said, they are a very highly people-orientated breed, and they're also really intelligent. And so they can comprehend things quite well, and they know when you leave the room, they know when you leave the house. And in their little brains, if they haven't been taught how to feel safe when they're on their own, or they haven't been taught how to feel confident when they're on their own, their little brain, it just spirals into anxiety, and they stress about whether you're ever going to come back. They stress about what's going to happen to them, when they're going to get fed, if they're going to be alone forever, and they're smart enough to have these little thoughts going through their brain. And so when we bring home a puppy for the first time, it's really, really important that we are aware that the Cavoodle breed can be very clingy and can be very prone to separation anxiety. And so when we bring them home, our training with them, our training routines have to be structured around teaching our puppy that they are capable, that they are okay when they are alone, that they can do their own thing when they're alone, and that you leaving is not something to stress over, and that you always come back. And we need to make sure our training is focused around instilling these beliefs inside of our Cavoodle puppy so that as they grow older, they are comfortable when they're on their own. They may not have the best time in the world because you're not there, that's fine. But as long as they are okay when they are alone, that is what we need to aim for. Because if they are not okay when they are alone, and you have a dog who destroys things and chews things and barks constantly when you're not home, you will get complaints from your neighbors, complaints from the council. You will be restricted to always having to be with your puppy because they will destroy things when you're not there, and you will have a very stressful life with them, and they will complicate your lifestyle instead of complementing it, which is what the goal should be whenever you bring a dog into your family, especially a Cavoodle who is going to be your best friend. They are going to be your sidekick, and they are going to be very heavily involved in our lifestyle and all of the activities that we do. But there will be times when they have to be on their own, and we have to make sure that they are okay when that happens. Now, there are lots of things that can contribute to your Cavoodle's separation anxiety and their lack of confidence. One of the main things that starts to contribute to that is what happens with the breeder. So if your breeder doesn't let your Cavoodle spend any time alone at all while with them, when they come to your house, if now they're suddenly without their siblings, without their mum, in a new environment with strangers in a place they have no idea whether it's safe or not, that is setting your cavoodle up for anxiety when they are on their own. So instead, a breeder who is aware that cavoodles can be anxious dogs, a breeder who is aware of this and instead does some training with the puppies so that the puppies are having their confidence built, the puppies are learning that they are capable, the puppy is learning to spend time on their own, and they're actually having time away from their litter mates when they are with the breeder. That's going to really help set your puppy up for success because it is something that is then normal for them. It's not something that is scary and stressful. When your cavoodle puppy is young, from 3 to 12 weeks of age, and they're going through their critical socialization period, that is when they have to be spending time alone because that is when their brain is creating their perceptions of the world and deciding how to react. And so if your cavoodle never spends a moment alone in that period of time, so up until 12 weeks, they will believe that the world is only okay when you are there and when they have someone with them. And they will never learn that the world is also okay when they are on their own. So really important that the breeder is taking active steps in their curriculum program with the puppies to ensure that the puppy is spending time on their own and is having their confidence built. And then when you actually bring your cavoodle puppy home, usually at around 8 weeks of age, it is essential that you jump straight into your own training program for the cavoodle breed, and we start teaching them confidence in your home from day one. We also teach them from day one that it's okay if they are left alone, and we make sure that every day for at least a month we are doing some kind of confidence building activity so that our cavoodle never ever believes that the world is ending when they are on their own. And if we do the right training and we do the right socializing and desensitization and confidence building with our puppy for a month once we bring them home, you will have a cavoodle who never suffers from separation anxiety. Your cavoodle will be happy when they're on their own. They will either play, chew on a treat, or sleep. And then when you are with them, they're not going to get hyper fixated on you to the point where they can't control their emotions because they have been so stressed over you not being there that suddenly you're in the room and now they have to jump and bark and bite your clothes because now they are overcome with all of this intense relief and stress that you have finally come home. So it works both ways. We need them to be okay when they're alone, and we need to make sure that when we re-enter the room and we come home, that they're also not going to completely freak out that we've finally come home. So your training with your cavoodle puppy when you first bring them home is either going to set them up for success or it won't. Your cavoodle will either be clingy and follow you from room to room and happy when on their own, or they are going to be a Velcro dog with severe separation anxiety who can never spend a moment alone without freaking out. And no cavoodle deserves to feel that way, and no family wants to have a cavoodle who acts that way. So really important to do the right training with our puppy when they are young, that we build their confidence, that we teach them safe places in the home, we teach them to be okay when they're on their own, we teach them that they may love us, but we're not the most important things in the world, that they can have fun on their own, and we want to make sure that we get them into a really good routine from the second we bring them home so that they never suffer that severe separation anxiety. So if you are getting your cavoodle puppy soon, you've already brought them home, and you are really concerned about this whole separation anxiety topic, and you really want to make sure your cavoodle does not have separation anxiety, My Cavoodle Training Academy is a program designed to prevent these behaviors in our puppy. It is a program designed to build up the independence of a cavoodle puppy, to build up their confidence, and to make sure that they are happy on their own and they are not suffering from any anxiety and any behavioral issues that result in chewed furniture, constant barking, crying, digging, weeing and pooing all through the house, or anything like that. So My Cavoodle Training Academy, it is a 28-day program, a step-by-step plan, and you get to follow 28 schedules with your puppy that will build their confidence to being alone. It'll also teach them how to relax when you're home, and it's going to make sure they don't suffer from separation anxiety. And with the program, You will get videos for every single activity for 28 days of me with my own Cavoodle puppy showing you exactly what to do. And you also will get access to 4 weekly group Q&A calls with me and the other families in the academy. And you can ask me any question at all about your Cavoodle puppy's behavior, and I will give you personalized advice over what to do to help them transition into your home, to settle down in your home, to relax in your home, and to display the behaviors you want to see from your puppy. So you will get that hand-holding reassurance, that personalized advice, and I will be your Cavoodle puppy coach to make sure your puppy does end up complementing your lifestyle instead of complicating it. So if you are wanting to join the Cavoodle Training Academy, the link is in the show notes. I would love to invite you into the program. I'd love to meet you and your puppy, and I'd love to make sure that your puppy doesn't suffer from any separation anxiety and that you have the freedom to live your life as you have been, but with the added benefit of a really cute, adorable Cavoodle by your side who isn't freaking out the second you leave them alone. So hopefully I see some of you in the program. If you have any questions about it, you can send me an email at hello@oodleway.co and I can let you know if it's the right program for you and your family. And I will see you next week for another episode of the Cavoodle Coach Podcast. This has been your Cavoodle Coach, Tiana Karamayas. I'll see you later. Bye.